Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim at Dawn. In this episode, we will be thoroughly exploring Tyrant's Hold on Ultimate Difficulty. And we are very warmly greeted by the natives. They seem agitated for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but everything I'm doing here is of course completely in self-defense. Let's continue our quest to meet their leader, Bloodfleeced the Ruthless. Yeah, see? All I do is set foot in here and they start attacking me. It's not me that's the aggressive one here, it's completely the Grobos. They're just completely out of control. Oh, kidding aside though, I think there's a witch doctor here that needs some firm murdering. And we get a flame repeater. And some dynamites. That is nice. Saves me some crafting. More scrap piles. And some more shinies. So we got a blue Flamekeeper's repeater. That's a level 72 demolitionist set item. That by itself grants +1 to all skills in Demolitionist. That's pretty darn neat. And on top of that, once you get 4 pieces of the set, you get another +1 to all skills in Demolitionist. That is very, very neat indeed. Is that the one with... No, there's a jacket, pauldron, a girdle, and a repeater. I don't think I've found pieces of this set before. So I think we have to be down there. Let's have a look and see. So, ow. Stop throwing meteors on my face. Okay, this guy is 84. That makes him 7 levels above me. That's a fairly high level. This is an 83. Okay. Some of the regulars are 82, so it's +5, +6. This is definitely not a one of the fairly common or easy areas to go into, or maybe it just has a natural higher level than the surrounding areas. But I suspect this is meant as a sort of a challenge area. No, it's not required to go here. It's the quest chain that leads up to here is completely optional. If you're not even going for reputation with the Black Legion, you might even just completely skip the chain. But in the end, it is nice to just set foot in all the places, or at least most of the places. And, well, completing quest for the Black Legion is just going to make it easier to actually build up some reputation with those fellas. Okay, lots of Grobos income. I must say that after the initial wave of attacks, most of the Grobos just fall dead, and then your regen kicks in to keep you safe. Of course, there's some triggered abilities that also help to keep us safe. Blast shield, we're slowly leveling that one as we go. These days that kicks in at, was that 60% or it used to be 75. Now it kicks in at 60, yeah. So for us that would be around 7,500 life. So effectively we need to take 4,000 points, nearly 5,000 points of damage before Blast Shield is going to kick in and grant us a couple seconds of damage absorption. There was a blacksmith over there, wasn't there? Yeah. Okay, relieve the burning. It's being supported by some shamans, I suspect. Because, well, most of the time, that's what Grobles do. Okay, now in this case, it's going pretty much all right. Why are you... Ah, wait, that's backlash. Okay. So the moment I say it's going relatively all right, I start taking quite some heavy beatings here. Yeah, okay. One of these filthy witch doctors is healing the boss. Let's not do that. Keep looking, keep murdering. Most importantly, keep looking, because I have no idea where the bugger is. You're hiding in the doorway. No, you're not. Okay. Oh, interesting thing is, of course, while I am on a witch doctor hunt, everything else is basically just murdering itself without me really doing a lot. And eventually, the hero falls. Now we can craft in peace. So the Celestial Smith, I think he gave us access to some... yeah, some special stuff. Oh wow. So you can actually craft a random legendary armor. Wow. For accessories we need ancient hearts. For armor we need 8 bloods of Cotton. So in this case we do have a very nice Devil's Cage Hauberk here. So it's not like we really strongly need something. It's tempting. But I think in this case I'll restrain myself. I will just keep the crafting materials for if we ever actually find something that is going to give us a bonus to the soldier skills. Because so far I've been not entirely lucky in the blueprint department when it comes to soldier relics. Oh, witch doctor. Okay, there we go. Oh, another one. Okay, that's not a witch doctor, that's just a tracker. Okay. Okay. After that, let's focus a little bit more on getting to the top side of the map, because this was a little bit of a detour after all. It was a fun detour. No, did discover that if we really want to craft some legendary armors, or if you're really unlucky in the legendary armor department or legendary item department in general, going here and crafting a random one might be a decent one. And if you're interested in like end game style grinds, where you're just running dungeons over and over and want some sort of reward for that outside of the legendaries that you are undoubtedly going to find while doing so, then it might not be a bad idea to cash in here and get yourself some legendaries. Oh, best case it's actually something for your character, worst case it's something for a future character. Okay. I think a group of enemies with healer backup is probably the best way to counter this specific build. Because a single foe usually doesn't have the damage output to deal with me. And a large groups, if they don't have healer backup, then all you have to do is weather the storm for their initial attack, and then they just fall over like flies on your retaliation damage. But if they've got healer backup, the healer's gonna keep the group alive, and then suddenly the initial burst of damage will actually turn into some semi-sustained form of damage. And that might pose a threat to you. That said, we have quite a lot of failsafes and triggered defensive abilities with all kinds of shielding and absorption effects. So if the enemy is just unleashing everything they've got, then actually that's a good warm-up training for your defensive triggers. I mean, skills like Menhir's Will, they trigger at 25% of your remaining health, so that's not really gonna train all that often. Also, why is there a trap in the end? Okay, this doesn't make sense. But it is nice every once in a while to see that we're not completely immortal, we're just very, very sturdy. And enemies that are determined enough and are able to survive long enough, they actually have a fair chance. So we haven't broken the game yet. Okay. Why is the back of my mind saying there's something here, some kind of secret, or why am I remembering it that way? Maybe because it looks like another situation where that is the case. Yeah. In this case, we will simply have to move through and then go this way. Another witch doctor. Gone. Dynamite, yes please. I know what, we'll just drag the guy along and fight him together with his friends. That's probably going to be more efficient. I'll just take out this witch doctor, because otherwise it's not going to be very efficient. Okay. And again, while they try to murder them... Ah, he's still alive, seriously. Okay, we'll just drag you along to the next room then. La 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 la, come on. Okay, that's the witch doctor down. And there goes the tyrant. Okay. As before, let's just do a little bit of global herding. Okay. There's a decent chunk of incoming damage and something is healing. There you are. Found you. Pyromancer. Okay. Give me my loot. Another one! Haha! Well, I must say that, though, on the one hand you can say, well, oh, witch doctors and priests and all kinds of things that heal their friends, they're all annoying and they only just drag out the fights. It's an argument you can make. On the other hand, you can also look at it, words, difficult. You can look at it as a sort of challenge, as a puzzle. See if I can find all the witch doctors and priests and whatever is trying to heal their bodies before everything else suicides on my retaliation damage. If you reframe it that way, then suddenly it actually becomes a fun game, a fun challenge. Gotta find all the witch doctors. They're like Pokemon. There's just down here. Boom. Okay. I think that's all we could gather here. And little bit of human remains. And then it is boss o'clock. Well, again, it's a witch doctor fighting time first, but after that, the boss is gonna be at the end of this room. Did we get all of the witch doctors? Yeah, I think we did. Okay. Oh, Blood Feast, where are you? Yay, Blood Feast. 84, that makes him +7 levels. Of course, a Warcry gives us a fair chunk of reflection damage, so that is what one by one takes out all of those gunners behind us. This guy is big and sturdy enough that I can actually blitz him just to increase, do a little bit of extra damage. But man, oh man, is he a sturdy bugger. Wouldn't be entirely surprised if he also has some form of life leech going on. That potentially makes him sturdier as well. I seem to remember picking up some things that make me slightly resistant to a life leech. Okay. Yeah. His damage output does not match my tankiness. And with that, we have bested the champion, the ruler, the Tyrant of Tyrant's Hold. And then it is loot o'clock, which is, of course, the best time of the day. Ooh. Sky Breach Bulwark. It's a legendary shield, 35% chance to block 1100 damage, 1 second recovery, 75 physical damage. So this is more meant to block the occasional high damage spike rather than a lot of small damage spikes. It increases lightning damage, so that's just added lightning damage to our melee attacks. Bonus to fire, lightning, and burn and electric damage. Part of my damage is converted to lightning, so the bonus of 96% to lightning damage synergizes well there. Some defensive ability, so it becomes more difficult to get hit. And a bonus to fire and lightning resistance, as our current shield also does. On top of that, we have 1 to 917 lightning retaliation. That is going to be multiplied by a factor of about 5. I think it's going to be multiplied by a factor of about 5. Plus 625, so that's going to be multiplied by 707.25. That's basically one shield is going to do 1 to 7,000 points of lightning damage. So on average, that's going to be 3,500 points of lightning damage. That's quite some extra retaliation damage if you compare that to our current highest of Pierce, which is 3,400. Top of that, we get +1 to all skills in Demolitionist and +1 to all skills in Shaman. We're not a Shaman, but Demolitionist is of course useful to us. We will lose physical damage bonus and some health, as well as 8% block chance. That is unfortunate. But we do gain quite some in a return. Also grants the Chain Lightning skill, 30% chance on block. Affects up to 5 targets and has a 2-second recharge and does a boatload of lightning damage. I think this is definitely worth considering. Even if it's just because it's purple. I mean, if it's a legendary item, we kind of must equip it, right? So, boom. So then lightning indeed just becomes 7 to 6,700. That was close enough. That's a fair chunk. We lose a little bit of life. Actually, a little. We lose 1,100 life. That's about just under 10%. Our listed DPS At rest goes from 7,700 to 7,200. But of course, we do have the granted skill on block for the chain lightning, so that is going to help us with our damage output, and of course our retaliation went up by quite a bit. My life leech resistance is negative. Does that mean that I actually take more damage from life leech attacks? I think I do. Okay. So there was something with life leech, but it was negative. Chance to block 66 instead of 74. Of course, Mark of the Myrmidon, I have on my old shield, which grants some health, some defensive ability, some damage reflect, some shield recovery, and a blade barricade, as well as the troll ward for some health and health regen. So the net effect is only 20 regen from that. Okay. So doesn't really mess with our resists. They are still maxed. Lightning, fire, they're all overcapped. Let's see, can we shuffle things around a little bit? Yep, we can. Just move the shield over there just to keep it apart for now. And then we can simply run around with it for a little bit. Oh, of course, pick up all the other loot. Well, we murdered everybody here, so let's find another place to kill some things. And we can go back to Homestead and just run around a little bit outside. Now just to test our new shield a little bit. Just stand there, do some war crying. They are nicely sparkly from the lightning. Okay. I think we need more test subjects to experiment with here. Everybody, please, get around. That looks pretty reliable. Okay. He does get zapped with the lightning for quite a bit. Okay. We are stronger against meleeers than we are against ranged folks. Come on, if you're looking for enemies, then there should be some, right? Right, everybody. Go on. Hit me. One of the interesting side effects, of course, of the chain lightning that's attached to this one is if you're standing adjacent to something that's, I don't know, a caster of sorts, or a summoner, and it has minions standing around it that hit us, then the chain lightning help us to fell the foe faster. There does seem to be some jumping and some arcing going around. I like it. I really like it. Might be just biased because I now get to wield a purple shield, but I like it. So it's a winner. Ooh, Ethos. That's a good test. If I happen to die against this guy, then maybe it was not a good idea after all. In the end, now all we did was lose a little bit of our max life, but we exchanged that for some practical extra damage, even though it is not reflected in the strict amount of DPS that is listed here. Oh, another one. Golok the Undiminished. No. So we can get you over here. No. Come on, you as well, with your football. As well, standing in the ether, maybe not the greatest of ideas, and exactly. Come on. Exactly. That's just as long as we can stand at the edge here. So in this case, we're fighting a pretty strong caster type that's not really likely to actually attack us in melee. So can those zombies actually stay alive long enough? Okay. Come on. Come on. Hit me. Yes. Okay. Zombies, well, there's a reason they're brain dead and looking for brains, right? They're just not the brightest of them all. But what we did do is get ourselves a new shield. So let's have a look. Do we have a spare Mark of the Myrmidon? We need one more piece. Okay.
It's safe with me.
Let's attack a little bit of extra inventory shuffling and crafting at the end of this episode. I don't always do it. Most of the time I just try to stick to killing monsters and leave the crafting to the in-betweens. But for now, let's actually just add that. So, got all the spare crafting stuff over here. Just clean our inventory, just get rid of all the yellow stuff. Got some extra crafting mats over there. Stored exalted sabatons of Maven's Wit. There's not enough resists, so it's pretty difficult to beat the Homestead faction boots in terms of resistances provided. So what I do here is always just filter first through the yellow ones just to turn them into iron bits. Then have a look at the green stuff. Most of the time it's not really good, or it's no craft, or it's caster gear, or it's a one-handed weapon that's just complete rubbish compared to what I've got. And then we are at the end of things. This one we probably want to keep. The old shield we can now move out just to keep things a bit tidy. Later on we'll just stash this. I'll keep it as a spare in case I do want to switch back. So we will need trollboard powder. That's maybe an easiest one to attach. I can find it. Usually sorted roughly by alphabet. Trollboard. Oh, that was not useful. So I got the store open. Of course, you're gonna sell things. So trollboard powder. That does make it soulbound. Also increases our health a little bit, so it diminishes the impact a little. So we sort this. Default sort order is all the lower level things alphabetically, and then the high tier items are usually at the end. In this case, there are no high tier items. So we need one Mark of the Myrmidon, which we don't have a blueprint for. That is annoying. That is very annoying. So is that one that I have just completely pieced together from vendor crafts?
No questions asked.
Okay. Possible, very possible. But, oh, getting 3 out of 4 pieces does grant us a decent chunk. It just scales up linearly, there's no... And then of course you get the ability, the Blade Barricade. You get that one for completing it.
It's safe with me. Promise.
So the more rare crafting materials, from time to time, they are being sold over here. So get some scrap over here, get some of the lower tier stuff, but there unfortunately is nothing special over here today. So that is too bad. So I think for now we'll just socket in a partially completed Mark of the Myrmidon. Gets us at least a little bit of health, a little bit of defensive ability and all that other good stuff. A little bit of reflection. So then we can do a before and after comparison. So before we had nearly 12,000 life. We had a 74% chance to block. We had maxed out resists. And our DPS was 7700. But no built-in abilities, and we had a small bonus to field command, active skill. Exchanging that for this Skybridge Bulwark, which really looks nice. Gives us a boatload of extra lightning damage, boosts our demolitionist skills, but we do lose a little bit of block chance and a bit of damage. But in return we do get a pretty fancy looking chain lightning and bonus to all the demo skills. So without actually putting in a lot of skills for blast shield, temper and even flame touched, we already have +3 to everything here. So that is one of the nice things. Now the further you get into the game, the more those plus skill bonuses are going to stack. But I think in terms of crafting options, for now this is good. So we have a nice new shield. We still need to put in one small chunk of the Mark of the Myrmidon. But as soon as we find one, or as soon as I can shop one here, I'll insert it and it will complete. That's one of the nice things. If you just find one, you just apply it to the shield and it will be added on top of the rest and it will complete and grant you the ability again. Because of course I currently don't have it. Also, I was almost gonna say thank you for watching, but of course we still need to go back to the Shaded Basin and hand in our quest. Because we killed the Global King, the Tyrant, and now I want a reward. Black Legion reputation, as well as an Ancient Heart. Ancient Hearts are nice, you don't always find those. And well, eventually you can turn them into random legendaries and things like that, as you saw at the blacksmith. But for now, that's gonna be it. So for some future episodes, of course, we have the homestead to do, we have the conflagration to best. So I think we'll start with the conflagration next episode, and then actually maybe we can postpone that until we are gonna run Port Volbury. If we're gonna head into that direction, we might as well combine them. So for now, we're actually just skipping the conflagration. So the farmlands are next, and after that we're gonna push forward north, north, north until we eventually get to the Logorian. But for now, that's it. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.